then Warrant of Ndlovu just asked that the photo should be moved up. Then he says, this picture was taken by a cell phone, which is Samsung J5, and then on the date that this picture was deleted. So he says that the date was deleted. Then, as we've just seen there, that it says cuffed row. And he says, and then the time in which this picture was taken, it was during the year 2020, and then on the 11th month, and then he says on the 12th, and the time is 17:38 minutes and 01 seconds. As you can see on the metadata, that is the information that appears there on the metadata that we traversed with you. Then Dr. Sibanda says, thank you. You also described the type of clothing that the person depicted on page 3 is wearing. Can you just go in detail with regard to that? Then Warrant of Ndlovu says, I see a person wearing a tracksuit underneath from the chest going to the lower body part. The person it is black in color, but on the chest going to the upper part of the body, it is red in color. And then he is wearing a hat. Then his face is not clear. Then Dr. Sibanda says, now let us move to page 4 of Exhibit DD4. And he says, I think it's page 2379. Page 2379 is the other photo that we have just shown you. And Dr. Sibanda asks Warrant of Ndlovu, says, thank you. This is at line 7. And then on your set of data, there on the screen, can you confirm that it is amongst the photos that you downloaded? Then Warrant of Ndlovu at line 10 says, that is so. Then at line 11, Dr. Sibanda. And then this is, do the same exercise. When was it taken, with what, and then what is the status of that photo during the downloading? Then it's Warrant of Ndlovu. Then he asks that the photo be moved up on the screen. It says this picture was taken by a cell phone, which is Samsung J5, and then on the date this picture was deleted. And this is what we've just gone through with you. That it was cuffed raw. And he says, and then the time in which this picture was taken, it was during the year 2020. And then on the 11th month, and then on the 12th, and the time is 17:38 minutes and 01 second. As you can see, so this is the picture that also appears there on your bundle, and we can see that that is the metadata. Then Dr. Sibanda then goes on to ask him, you say it is a tracksuit with a hat. Can you just explain exactly, is this a hat now attached to the tracksuit? What is the position here? And he then goes on to describe the hat. And on page 58, also during the proceedings of 10 June 2025, then the state put it on record that the evidence describes that hat as a hoodie. And then at line 12, Dr. Sibanda then asked him to give the details of the photograph. Then he says, the time, the date reads as follows: 2020, 11th month, and then the date will be the 12th. Then the time, it reads as follows: 17:38 minutes and 01 second. And the picture was taken with the Samsung J5.
Ushushisi ukuthi ufundela khona-ke ubufakazi bakhe u-warrant officer Ndlovu bange-10 zikaJune 2025 qala-ke kupage 56. Mr. Ndlovu uyasho-ke la, yebo ngiyabona kunomuntu, ubuso bomuntu abucacile. Umuntu yena-ke ugqoke i-tracksuit enesigqoko phezulu kuyona, esingaphezulu kuyona i-tracksuit sibomvu ngombala, noma-ke ibomvu ngombala. Futhi la ngezansi-ke i-tracksuit lena-ke inendawo noma-ke inombala omnyama. I-page leyo-ke u-2378, wabesithi-ke u-2378 isona-ke isithombe lesi bekhulunywa ngaso-ke lesi lana u-2378. Mr. Sibanda, siyabonga. Manje-ke kwimininingwane yakho-ke ekusona-ke i-screen, ungaqinisekisa yini ukuthi-ke leso sithombe leso esinye seyithombe owenza kusona ama-download noma owazi-downloada? Masephendula-ke yena u-warrant officer Ndlovu wathi yebo kunjalo. Mr. Sibanda, lokhu-ke wase wenza noma uphinda kona-ke lokhu ngesikhathi sithathwa-ke isithombe sithathwa ngani, futhi-ke isimo saso isithombe leso-ke ngaso isikhathi sokudownloadwa. Ngicela-ke ukhuphe kumaphendula yena-ke babundlovu, ngicela ukhuphe-ke futhi-ke lesithombe lesi sathathwa-ke kusetshenziswa umakhalekhukhwini okuyi-Samsung J5, futhi ngalo-ke i-date esadilithwa ngayo noma-ke esasulwa ngayo, isikhathi sona isithombe esathwetshulwa noma esathathwa ngaso ngonyaka ka-2020, ngazo kwinyanga kuyona inyanga ye-11, i-date kwakungeyi-12, isikhathi sona-ke u-17:38 nesekendi elodwa. Wabesithi-ke u-advocate isona-ke isikhathi lesi-ke ubusikhonjiswa-ke noma-ke ebekhuluma ngaso lana ngesibona 2020, 11, 12, 17:38 isike sibhaliwe lana. Mr. Sibanda, siyabonga. Uyishilo futhi noma uyichazile futhi-ke kanye nempahla-ke ayegqokile umuntu lowo kuyena-ke ku-page 3. Sicela-ke usinikeze imininingwane mayelana nalokho. Ngibona uyaphendula-ke uMr. Ndlovu, ngibona umuntu ogqoke i-tracksuit ngaphansi ukusuka-ke la esifubeni ukuya enzansi, ngombala-ke imnyama, kodwa-ke esifubeni ukukhuphukela-ke ngaphezulu inombala obomvu. Futhi-ke ufake isigqoko, ubuso bakhe-ke bona-ke abucacile. Besephendula-ke uMr. Sibanda, siyabonga. Ngicela sidluleleke manje ku-page 4 wakhe-ke u-exhibit DD4B. sikhuluma ngayo manje yena-ke u-2379 u-2379 masethu advocate ubaloyi isithombe-ke bekuyisithombe esilandelayo akhulume ngaso 2379 ngicela isithombe-ke ekuyisona esicacile wabe sengibuza ukuthi ngicela ubukeke kusona-ke iscreen ukuthi-ke ubonani kusona uthi nalapho-ke ngibona umuntu ofake i-tracksuit enemibala emibili ukusuka-ke esifubeni ukuya-ke emzimbeni wakhe umuntu ukuthi-ke imnyama ngombala kodwa-ke uma usuka esifubeni-ke uya ngaphezulu-ke somzimba wakhe ibomvu ngawo umbala futhi-ke ufake isigqoko okunye futhi ngiyakubona ubuso ngokuthi-ke uyakhanya-ke uSibanda-ke becela-ke ukuthi-ke umchazele-ke lapho ukuthi-ke kuyi-tracksuit kanye nesigqoko ungachaza nje ingabe-ke kuyisigqoko esihambisana noma-ke esihlangene nayo i-tracksuit kwenzekani lapho uNdlovu uma iphendula ufake noma-ke ugqoke i-tracksuit kuyisigqoko kodwa-ke isigqoko sihlangene nayo i-tracksuit nokuthi futhi-ke ugqoke kodwa-ke kwaba nendawo-ke engazwakali engacacileke lapho uma sidlulela-ke kuyena upage 58 Mr. Sibanda ukuthi-ke imininingwane-ke yaso isithombe uNdlovu ngiyacela-ke ukuthi-ke ukhuphuke isikhathi i-date zifundeka ngale ndlela 2020 inyanga 11 kanye futhi-ke ne-date kuyi-12 isikhathi sona sifundeka ngale ndlela u-1738 imizuzu kanye futhi-ke ne-second elilodwa futhi-ke isithombe lesi sathathwa-ke kusetshenziswa i-Samsung J5.
Yes. Now, do you realize that what you are saying earlier on is not correct? Warrant Officer Ndlovu was referring to the raw data which shows the metadata.
Ingabe-ke manje-ke kulokhu-ke uyezwa ukuthi lokhu oqeda ukusho ukuthi akusilona-ke iqiniso ngoba-ke u-Warrant Officer Ndlovu yena-ke ebekhuluma lana ngemininingwane-ke ekhona ayibonayo. My Lord, these are different pictures before you. These pictures that are shown here before you, my Lord, by the prosecutor, they were also beamed by Mr. Ramusipile. There are pictures that are deleted and there are pictures that are not deleted. I said that before court. The pictures that were beamed by Mr. Ramusipile had no dates before this court. Here is one just in front of me. It doesn't have a date that Mr. Ramusipile asked me about. Secondly, when I was arrested, I was not wearing these clothes. They informed you about those clothes. You are aware of the clothes. The other police officer came to court and mentioned those, testified about that. Hence, I am saying, my Lord, that these pictures, these are not the correct dates.
But sir, you were referring to the evidence of Warrant Officer Ndlovu. I'm sorry?
The information that is now being placed on record is a bit misleading in the following sense. The court will recall last week that there was a point when even the court gave an instruction or ordered that we should adjourn, so these photos should be printed and we reconvene again in the afternoon. This was necessitated by my indication that the metadata, as it is put on these photos, is not so clear as to which photo does it belong to, and I requested the state to make it easier for us to indicate that the metadata that we're busy with now actually belongs to this photo, etc., etc., etc. But subsequently thereto, then the court said no. I realized that we need to adjourn so that that can be ironed out. And this is what happened last week. There's a photo that is on page 2378 of 5471. The photo that looks a little bit blurry. That is the photo that we were told that the metadata of that photo overlaps to page 2379. It goes up to just before the photo that Sergeant Ndlovu testified about, which is on 2379 of 5471. The photo that Sergeant Ndlovu describes as a little bit lightish in color, where he's able to identify the clothes as compared to the one which is a bit blurry. Now, the state told us last week that information, which is on the metadata that is on page 2379 of 5471, relates to the first photo, which is a little bit blurry or darker, which Sergeant Ndlovu could not actually identify as to what was happening there. And the state said that photo was taken on, or that metadata that is on page 2379 relates to the first photo. That information that says original time 2020 11/12, the time being 17:38:01. The state says that metadata relates to the first photo. But now Sergeant Ndlovu says that metadata relates to the photo that appears on 2379, the photo that is a little bit lighter in appearance. That now contradicts what the state told this court on last week, which necessitated the adjournment. Because I said I'm getting a bit confused as to which metadata relates to what photo. But as I listen now to Sergeant Ndlovu's testimony that is being read on record, that metadata that says 2020 11/12 relates to the photo on which that metadata, on the page on which that metadata is. But according to the state, this metadata relates to the previous photo. It totally contradicts what the state actually told this court last week, my lord. So I don't know what is what. Thank you, my lord. Basically, this simply means that a wrong supposition is now being put to this witness. This witness is now being cross-examined on the basis of a wrong supposition, my lord, which is totally unfair.
Well, my lord, there's nothing wrong with the evidence of Warrant Officer Ndlovu. We've quoted the passage where he's referring to page 378, and he gives the metadata of the information on 2378. Then, after giving the metadata on that information which appears on 2378, which overlaps to 2379, he then gives that information that overlaps up to 2379, but he doesn't elaborate further regarding the metadata of the photo that appears on 2379. I think if counsel were to read his evidence in conjunction with the photos, then it will be clear that there's no contradiction which counsel is referring to, my lord.
The information, my lord, is very clear. We can go back to the records that the state is just put on record now. to the information which is contained in the record that the state is just put on record now. It refers to what I've just explained to this court, which is not what the state said last week, my lord. There's no confusion. It's very specific. We can go back to the record. We don't need to dissect the record, dissect or to analyze it. It relates to exactly what I've just indicated to the court, that the information, the metadata that is on page 2379, as per the state's as per the state's assertion last week, relates to the photo that is on page 278. But today, they are reading from the record information that says that that metadata relates to a photo that is on page 279, as per the testimony of Sergeant Love. Hence, I say it's now misleading to this witness.
Yes, what's the confusion now?
Well, my lord, we can't take the point further.
But what is Mr. Nisi saying?
Well, Mr.
How you understand him?
Yeah, can I just get the record? Mr. Nisi is saying, last week, according to counsel, he said, we said that the information that appears on page 2378 of 5471 of Exhibit 6 overlaps on the next page, which is 2379.
Yeah.
Yes, which is correct. It does overlap.
Yeah, fine.
Then there's a picture just below that metadata.
Now that's where the confusion comes.
Yes,
that picture is not the same as.
Exactly, it's something different.
But we've got the pictures there.
Yes,
just show your colleague if it's so.
The pictures are here as well as the metadata.
And showing that you are referring to which picture? Because according to Mr. Minister, there are two pictures. Yeah, so the supposition put by you to Mr. Ntanzi is incorrect because it is based on another picture, which is not the one you are referring to. As I understand the argument.
Yes, but we're going to show it to them. So this is, they do have 2378, there's the metadata, and it ends here. Then there's a picture, and the metadata for that picture is on the next page.
So the metadata are different.
Yes,
the two photos are different.
Exactly, as we pointed out to the witness, that the two pictures were taken 37 seconds apart. Yes.
Yeah, okay. You can argue that point.
Madam, let me just amplify before we come to argue. I am saying the information or the testimony of Sergeant Ndlovu does not confirm or does not agree with what the state told the court last week.
What did the state tell the court?
The state says, thank you, madam.
Last week?
Yes.
Talk about last year.
Which necessitated the adjournment up until lunchtime. Yes. The state said that that metadata that overlaps onto page 2379, on page 3471, just above the picture, relates to the picture or the photo that is on page 2378. That is what the state said.
Is that what you said, Mr.?
They've just said it now.
Yes. Well, that is what the metadata as well as the evidence of Warrant Officer Ndlovu says. If one looks at page...
I was still explaining.
Oh, okay.
Probably the state will come in and make some additions again. But from the record, which is the evidence now of Warrant Officer Ndlovu, I'm sorry, I've been saying Sergeant, but from the record, which is the testimony of Warrant Officer Ndlovu, that metadata, which is on page 2379, just above the photo that is on page 2379 relates to the very same photo on that page, not to the page, not to the picture which is on 2378. Hence, I say that is misleading, because according to Ndlovu, that metadata relates to the same picture that is on the same page on 2379. Ndlovu never spoke about the metadata that is on page 2198. Hence, I say that is misleading, and that is specific on his record.
Yes, sir.
Well, Malot, maybe just for the sake of progress, we're just talking about the metadata on page 2378. Let's just for the sake of progress.
So you're talking about the metadata you say on page
2378.
Not 2379.
Which, but as I said, overlaps to
2379.
yes. But that's where the confusion comes.
Okay. So the metadata.
I'm sorry, there's no confusion. I am following what the record is saying. I'm not confused. Not at all. I'm simply following what the record is saying. So I don't know where the state does get that idea that's where the confusion is coming from. Because this confusion had already been cleared last week with the adjournment that the court actually ordered. It was cleared then. Today there's no confusion, but that is exactly what the record says, and the record agrees with me.
But you are reading the same record with Mr. Balui.
I've been listening, my lord. I can read it again. Unfortunately, I don't have a hard copy.
I mean, you are differing. I will have to read it and decide, because I've got two senior counsel before me. They are reading the same record. They're giving it two different interpretations.
It's not a question of interpretation,
Yeah.
but that is it, may,
It's
my
not
lord.
me saying that, you guys.
Yes, my
They're
lord.
reading the same document. We interpret it or read it differently. That's why I said, well, I will have to read it
Thank
in
you, my
conjunction
lord.
with all the evidence.
Thank you. That is just what I wanted to put on record.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, my Lord, Mr. Ntanzi has been having his hand up.
Kosenkantolo namanje lapho nasi isibongo lesenisiphethe.
Page. Here's the photo that I have before court. It's the witness is referring to page 2382, my Lord, of 5471.
Isithombe nasi siphelela sina date. Mangiphinda ngibuya ngapha ku
Okay. The photo is here, my Lord. It does not have a date. But when I again go to
Which photo are you referring to?
the witness is referring to page 2382, my Lord, of
On
547.
which page? Because we've got here page
Yeah.
948 of
No.
5471.
2382.
It's further on, my lord.
Yeah, 23.
82.
Yes. Mr. Ntanzi, if we can just quickly, if you just page over to 2383, you'll see the metadata. Just over the page.
I disagree.
Nalesi zithombe ehlwele number 3 khona nayo amadate khona ngezansi kwakhe lesi asinamadate ngapha siqhamuka sinamadate futhi isithombe siyi-1 ade ngithola phambi kosenkantolo
It's the same picture. Here, where it says on page 2, there is no metadata. And then when you go over, and then there is metadata. And then you go over again, there is information. And so what I'm saying before the court, Diego,
nathi information yakho ngiyayibona.
then the witness is now referring to the very last page, which is page 2383. It says, here is the information.
Isithombe siyi-1 lesi angithi lesi
It's the same picture. This
Yeah.
one, as well as the one which says 2 in brackets.
manje-ke ngapha iphi imininingwane yakhona lesi.
Yes.
Now, where is the information, the metadata of this one?
Mr. Ntanzi, just for the sake of these are your photos. Don't pretend as if you don't know what is going on. If you have any issues, you can raise that with your counsel in re-examination.
Okay.
The further portion that we want to refer you to is what your counsel led you on in re-examination. This we see on page 54 when you were testifying in chief, and this was on the 17th of February 2026 at line 7, Mr. Ramosepeli. Now, he's referring to the evidence of Warrant Officer Ndlovu. He says, we'll maybe start at line 4, Mr. Ramosepeli. The third photograph, can you identify the person depicted on the photograph? Then you replied as follows, it's me. Then at line 7, Mr. Ramosepeli, referring to the evidence of Warrant Officer Ndlovu, he says, now the officer who testified on this photograph says it was taken on 12 November 2020 at 17:38 and 1 second. This is precisely the photo that we've been referring to on page 2378. So even your counsel is saying that Warrant Officer Ndlovu did testify about the dates.
Manje nakumbuzo owawuhlonywa noma owawubuzwa uyena ke ummeli wakho kwakunge 17 kunyanga edluleke ka February 2026 ku line 4 no ku line 7 lapho ke uma ngabe ekubuza yena umzana uNgamsipile ebuza wena umbuzo ubuzile lapho ke futhi ngama dates uyishilo I date lapha yana November 2020 November 12 ka November nesikhathi futhi wasisho so umshishisa kushoyo ukuthi nangenkathi ummeli wakho ekubuza nayo ke naye ke ukhulumile ngedate naye ke la manje ke iphoyisa elethula ubufakazi ngaso isithombe leso ubaba uNgamsipile okhulumayo uyasho ukuthi sathotshula nge-12 ka November 2020 ngo-17:38 ne-second elilodwa.
Lesi sithombe noma sikhuluma ngasiphi isithombe?
I'm referring to this one. We're referring to this one.
Yes, the one on 2378 is
2378. Nasibuye 2378. Nasi lesi. The witness is asking on the record that the state just read now, where does it say 2378?
Well, he's leading you on.
It's a mistake you're making before the court. The photo that Mr. Ramsipile asked me about, I was wearing a hat, and that's when I was saying that I was coming back from heading the cattle. I was back home in the villages. Not this one. It's not true.
Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Ramosepeli is referring to the photo taken on 12 November 2020.
Kuloko qeda ufunda lapha ubaba Ramsipile ubuza ngesithombe esathuthulwa nge-12 November 2020.
17:38 and 1 second.
Isikhathi u-17:38 ne-second elilodwa.
But we leave it there. We're not going to enter into debate with you. The record is very clear.
I don't have to admit to anything before the court. Because we don't have to admit to something even if it's a crime and it's not true. The picture that Mr. Ramsipile asked me about, I remember that very well. It's a picture where I was wearing a hat with a yellow t-shirt, and I said that I was back home in the villages. I was coming back from heading the cattle. I even told the court that when this picture was taken, I took it back home, but it had details of Gauteng. So how is that possible?
Yes. Then he also asked you as to where was the photo taken. Then you responded as follows. At line 15, it says, I cannot see the house clearly, but the house with the white paint that I used to visit or used to go was Buthelez's house, but there I cannot see whose house this is.
Umuzi ke engangivamisa ukuthi ngiye kuwona noma indlu engangivamisa ukuthi ngiye kuyona ke enopende omhlophe kwakuyindlu kaButhelezi kodwa ke angiboni kahle.
Yebo siphi isithombe khomba mina apha escreen.
Yes, but which photo?
Yes.
Please point it out to me on the screen.
Nakhona ku record kuba ubhale khona isithombe bani lapho lapho.
Even where you are reading from now, where does it indicate as to which particular photo that is being referred to?
Ngoba lapha ekhodi ziningi izithombe zasendlini kaButhelezi. Angisho ukuthi lezi ngoba ngathi kusendlini kaButhelezi angisabone kahle lesiphi isona leso sikhuluma ngaso manje.
Because before court, there are many photos that were beamed or that I took in Buthelez's house. Some I would say that I can't remember well, but now the one you are referring to, which one in particular is it?
Yes. Now, we're going to show you a photo. Is this the photo that you are referring to?
Isona leso khuluma ngaso.
Siqale lapha nababra msebenzini ayithombe. Sahamba sehlala zonke.
This is where myself and Mr. Ramusipile started with the photos and then we went down with them.
Yes.
Manje lapha ku record olifundayo phambi kosenkantolo awuyitshela inkantolo ngedate lena esikhuluma ngazo ngayithombe.
But now where you are reading from the record, you are not informing the court about the dates.
Nanokuthi isithombe lesi esayiphi date.
As well as which date was this photo and where.
Yes. Now, Mr. Ntanzi, we're going to refer you to, again, the record, 17 February 2026. That's when your counsel was leading you on page 52, line 8, Mr. Ramusipile. The second photograph identify the person that is depicted there. Then line 10, you respond as follows: it's me, my lord. Now, Mr. Ramusipile. Now, during Brigadier Geninda's testimony, this photograph was dealt with at length to show that you had the old tight round about the mouth. Here and all that. But the important part is when I objected, I said context is important to know. You need to know where this photograph was taken. Now, the officer who testified on this photo testified that this photo was taken on 4 June 2020. Now, Mr. Ntanzi, if you look at this photograph where you employed at the time of this photograph was taken, then at line 20 you respond as follows: here I was back at home, if I remember well, and I just returned from the mountain to coming back from fetching the cattle. Well, here is a photo. I was seated with my mother on the other side, and then the cattle were just further down. So you're confusing this photo with the other one that we've just shown to you.
Lana ke masikhuluma ke ngalesi ubufakazi lobu okay nge-17 February wona le unyaka lo 2026 lana ke ubaba Ramusipile. Manje ke isithombe sesibili awuchazeke umuntu okuleso sithombe leso. Mawuphendula ke wena imina nkosenkantolo waphinda futhi ke ubaba Ramusipile. Manje ke ngabo ubufakazi bakhe uBrigadier Geninda lesithombe lesi ke kukhulunyiwe kakhulu ke ngaso ukukhombisa ke ukuthi ke wawunyele yantshebeke eyakekeleze umlomo kodwa ke kusemqoka ke ngenkathi ke ngisukuma ke ukuthi ke bengithi ke kusemqoka ke ukuthi ke uzwe konke noma ke uthathe konke okwakhulunywa noma ke okwashiwo kubufakazi manje ke iphoyisa elethula ubufakazi ngalesi sithombe lesi safakaza noma ke ufakazi lowo akutshela inkantolo wathi isithombe lesi sathathwa ngey4 zika June 2020 manje ke wena ke isithombe lesi ke wena usihlanganisa you said you're convincing it with which one?
Yes, with the one on page 2378.
Manje ke wena ke uhlanganisa ke isithombe lesi kanye nalesi esiku 2378.
Ayikho into engihlanganisa apha nokhona.
There's nothing that I'm confusing before the court.
Mina ngiphendula lokho wena ukutshela Jonas hatshene mina.
I am responding to that which you are saying to Jonas and Jonas then interpret it to me.
Mama thatha ubuke sona isithombe soziveza manje phambi kwenkantolo. Mina ekhanda ngigundile ngifaka isiqhoko ngifaka isiqhoko ekhanda ngigundile.
If you are to take the very same photo that you shown to the court now, I'm wearing a hat there. My head is not shaven.
Anyway, Mr. Ntanzi, we're going to move on. We just want to show you two photos. The one on page 948. This is the picture that appears on page 948 of 5471, Exhibit 6. We have already traversed this picture on Friday. Just look at the background.
Bese sikhulumileke ngaso isithombe lesi ngolesihlanu bengicela ke ubuke ke emuva lapha kusona isithombe.
Your testimony is that this photo was taken back at home during COVID times. Is that correct?
Ubufakazi bakho ushilo ukuthi isithombe lesi ke sathathwa ke usemakhaya ngesikhathi secorona.
Lesi emakhaya lesi themna sakubese isithombe idindlu kabani lapha baye emakhaya ngithemne ngibuye emakhaya ngagundile.
I said I came back from home, my head was not shaven. I said I cannot recall as to whose house this is.
Le tracksuit akaze ngiye naye ekhaya mina.
I've never gone home with this tracksuit.
Ama-tracksuit bemagqoke Freedom Park.
These are tracksuits that I would wear at Freedom Park.
Mr. Ntanzi, are you denying that you testify that this photo was taken back home during COVID times?
Ingabe uyaphika yini ukuthi ke bekuwubufakazi bakho ukuthi isithombe lesi sathwetshulwa usemakhaya ngesikhathi secorona?
Thema ngibuya emakhaya ngishoda ngisekhaya mobile question wrong lapha phansi wrong. Thema ngibuya lezi thomba sithomba sekala sekhaya ithomba zokukholisa.
I said when I came back or when I was coming back from home, if you have the wrong notes there, there's pictures that I took back home. I will show you them.
Yes. But we put it through, that is your evidence, that is how you testified.
Kodwa ke ngiyakutshela ukuthi ke bekubufakazi bakho lo.
Because enkantolo lesi sithombe lesi thombe la tracksuit ngithenga ishuthe mina mangibuya emakhaya. Uma ukuthi ubhala into engesiyona lapha ema-question akho i-wrong lodwa le.
My lord, what I said was that I took these pictures upon my return when I came back from home. If you wrote something wrong there,
ngize ngathi nima ngibuye ekhaya ngamalanga ecorona ngibuye nginenwele angithi ubunguza nami ngithi ngithema ngibuye ekhaya ngamalanga ecorona ngibuye nginenwele
I even said that when I came back from home during the COVID times, I came back with hair.
Just keep in mind the background there on this picture on 948. We wish to refer you to page 2379 that we traversed a short while ago today. 2379 of 5471 Exhibit 6.
2379. Ukhumbuleke ukuthi kulesi sithombe ngemuva lapha yana ubonani noma kubonakalani. Ngicela siye kuyena 2379.
Are the two backgrounds the same?
Yeah, 2379.
Yeah.
Emuva lapha, yabona emuva lapha.
Page 948 and 2379.
No 237 nale 948. Ngabe kuyafana ukubonakala emva kwakho lapha ku 948 nala ku 379 emuva kuyafana.
Mosilapha akufani, lapho ngathi ngihleli phansi lapha mosimile lapha.
It's not the same. Here the witness referring to 948. Here it appears as if I'm seated, and then here on 2379 I'm standing.
So we're talking about the background. What appears there in the background?
Sikhuluma ngalokho ekubonakala emuva lapha yana. Asikhulumi ngawe kodwa emuva kwakho yabona isithombe ne emuva la ku 2379 ubona lapha emuva nokubona emuva la ku 948 kuyinto yodwa yini noma kuyafana yini?
Mina ngibona udonga nje lokho.
I only see a wall. It's all
Yes.
the wall.
Do the walls look the same?
Ngabe udonga luyafana?
Ngopende.
No.
Referring to the paint.
No, the background. How the do you see the same wall on page 948 as you see on page 2379?
Ingabe udonga lolu olubona la ku 948 so udonga olodwa nalolu olubona la ku 2379
Udonga lodwa liphansi lela ngithi. Le liphansi udonga lo liphansi le. Lento le mawakhidla ngazo ama tiles noma iplanga lebathi ulifaka phansi so le livela la phansi.
That's the wall, and then the witness referring to page 2379. What you see there, it's I don't know whether you refer to that as being the tiles or what is it exactly that they would put that is now right on the ground or on the floor of the wall, moving right around.
Nayi leto from the court. Udonga lo.
This is what I'm referring to.
Efaka phansi endlini mawufaka ama tiles mawufaka icarpet ufaka iplanga lento.
What the witness is pointing out there, that's what you would then put. It was whether you put in a carpet or tiles showing right around the wall or on the floor.
So we ask you a very simple question as to whether the wall that you see on page 948 is the same wall that you see on page 2379.
Kulula esikubuza kona ukuthi udonga olubona la ku 948 ingabe kuudonga olodwa nalo udonga lolu olubona la ku 2379.
Mina ke udonga lodwa.
To me it's the same wall.
Thank you. Now, can we continue with the pictures? We were about to start with the picture on page 2381 of 5471. Exhibit 6. Once again, it shows curved row, meaning that the photo was deleted.
Iyakhombisa futhi ke laphana ke ucraft draw okushoyo ukuthi isithombe sasidilithiwe.
There's a file name, curved raw. Metadata, it says equipment, make, Samsung, equipment model SMJ500F that accords with your device. Is that correct? The device that was used to take this photo.
Uma sibona imininingwane yocingo lana ke Samsung SMJ500 kuyahambisana ke nemininingwane yefoni yakho angithi. Yes, I see it.
It says date and time, 2020/11/12, 17:38 40 seconds.
Lana kukhuluma ngedate kanye nesikhathi 2020/11/12 isikhathi 17:38 ama-second awu-40.
You'll recall that the time on the previous photo that we dealt with was 17:38. No, I'm sorry, it was 17:38 and 32 seconds.
Uzokhumbula-ke isikhathi kusona isithombe-ke esidlulile besikhuluma ngaso beku-17:38 nama-seconds awu-32.
Now this one is 17:38 and 40 seconds.
Manje-ke lesi u-17:38 40.
It's about a minute and 28 second difference.
Umehluko-ke umzuzu nama-secondi awu-28.
And it says original time 2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
Lana-ke mayikhuluma ngesikhathi-ke uyisona u-2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
I'm sorry, it's 28 seconds, not 28 seconds. There's a 28 seconds difference from the previous photo. And it says path file says deleted, yes.
Lana-ke ngixolisa-ke ngesikhathi engisishilo ukuthi-ke umehluko ama-seconds awu-28 bese kubhala lana-ke ama-files-ke asusiwe noma-ke adeletiwe yathi yebo.
And it says metadata time 2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
Lapha noma ikhuluma-ke ngemininingwane-ke noma isikhathi sayimininingwane u-2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
And if we continue to the next page, 2382, says the original time 2012/11/12. It says 17:38 40.
20.
Yeah, sorry, 2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
Isikhathi okuyisona u-2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
Then it says digitized time 2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
2020/11/12, 17:38 40.
And it says equipment manufacturer Samsung equipment model SMJ500F.
Lana-ke iyakhuluma-ke noma-ke iyasho-ke ukuthi kwasetshenziswani Samsung isho uhlobo SMJ500F.
We just want to correct the difference in time between the time on the third photo, the photo that we are currently busy with, and the previous one. It's 8 seconds.
Ukuthi silungiseke isikhathi ukuthi umehluko
8
phakathi
seconds,
kwalesikhathi lesi-ke isikhathi salesithombe lesi-ke nesithombe esingaphambilini-ke ama-seconds awu-8.
Do you have any comment to proffer regarding this, the metadata on this photo?
kukhona ongakusho mayelana nemininingwane ke ekulesi sithombe lesi.
mina ngisho phambi kwesikhathi nangisengijele ngisengiboshiwe.
What I'm saying before the court was that I was already incarcerated, I was already arrested.
Lezi thombe akushona idate yakhona lezi.
These dates depicted here, my lord, are not the dates of the photos.
No. Nasi nje esinye isithombe zoqala emveni kwecourt ngivezele lesikahle ngizophendula ngaso.
Here's another picture, the witness referring to 2382, that this photo be beamed here. I will just explain properly.
Yes. There is a photo that we're going to get to next. It's page 2382 of 5471 of Exhibit 6. It says file name carved raw, meaning that the photo was deleted.
Mayisho ke lana iyasho ukuthi carved raw okusho ukuthi ke isithombe sasidilithiwe.
Then the metadata follows on page 2383.
Iyaqhubeka ke imininingwane yesithombe lesi yilena ke ekula ku 2383.
It says equipment make Samsung, equipment model SMJ500F. This accords with your device, the device that was used to take this photo.
Makhuluma ke noma le mininingwane yefoni ethi ke iSamsung bese iyasho ke SMJ500F. Lokho ke kuyahambelana ke nemininingwane yefoni yakho.
What is your answer?
Ithini impendulo yakho?
Mina ngishilo nathi ithombe lezi manje sithatha ngefoni yakho.
I did say that these photos were taken using my phone.
Into engiyiphixa phambi kwecourt ngamadate njengamanje nasisithombe siyavela. Ngqobo ophaca, ngqobo itroksuit, angiboni ngezathi mayibhulu kanjani. Azange aba nophaca ejele mina. Ngiqala uba nophaca eRustenburg eRamshana.
What I'm disputing here, my lord, is the date as well as the time. Here is the photo. The photo is appearing here. I am wearing what we refer to as like slip-ons as well as a tracksuit. I'm just not able to say what kind of a pants I am wearing, but I've never had those kinds of shoes in prison. I started having them in Ramshana. I started having them in Ramshana in prison, my lord.
Uma wekuthi uthwela lapha ngokho esithombe ngesithathe sengiboshiwe vele iswethile ekhavela enyaweni phansi.
If you are alleging or claiming that this picture was taken when I was already arrested or after my arrest, then there should be cavelas appearing that I would be wearing.
Nale tracksuit le azange aba nayo pro station.
Even this tracksuit, I never had it at the police station.
Ingakho ngitshela phambi ukuthi lezi ithombe lezi nikhipha ama date azo nafaka ama date na ungesiwona wayo.
Hence, I am saying before the court that what you did here is to remove the proper dates here and then included dates that are not correct.
Mama ngisho kose kanti ukutheleza mina mathatha iphahla ukutheleza ngithatha ijini emnyama ngathatha ama video ethu ngathatha itracksuit lebe ngigqoka mangekhothe ko Bosberg nalapha ngize ngafika ngigqoka lo tracksuit.
Asiqale phansi uthatheni ukuthelezi?
Ngithatha ijini emnyama eLevi's.
Even from Utelezi, when I took the clothes that I took was a black Levi's jeans.
Ngathatha ilokhuzayo itracksuit lebe ngigqoka ngesekhothe.
As well as the tracksuit that I was wearing when I was attending to court. And then I took two boxer shorts that Butelezi had. Butelezi nobani? As well as Lebuhile. As well as a short-sleeved T-shirt. But now these photos, where are they coming from? Where it is now claimed that these pictures were taken when I was already incarcerated. And the shoes, that is now the slip-ons, were given to me by my brother Langa when I requested him to bring them. Lambo. But now, this one that appears with the date, with the shoes that I'm wearing, where is it coming from?
Mr. Ntanzi, you testify that the slip-ons that appear on this picture, that you were wearing them whilst you were at Ramochana prison, is that correct?
I'm saying the very first time where I wore slip-ons in prison, it was in Ramshana. And that does not happen in the initial stages or the initial stages because when you get there, the one that is in charge of the prison must first come and see you. Then I'm allowed to go and make a call or make a phone call. So it was after some weeks.
And you were admitted to Ramochana prison on 1 March 2021, is that correct?
March 2021, Uma Uya Ramshana.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, in the middle, it says the original date, 2020/11/12, 1740/02.
Isikhathi 2020/11/12 isikhathi 1740/02.
The time difference between this photo and the previous one, it's 2 seconds.
Umehluko ke wesikhathi phakathi kwalesi nesinye phambi kwaso ke ama-second amabili.
Now it says digitized time 2020/11/12, 1740/02 seconds. Then it says path carved files, and it says deleted, yes. Then metadata, it says time 2020/11/12, 1740/02 seconds. Original time 2020/11/12, 1740/02 seconds. Digitized time 2020/11/12, 1740/02 seconds. Equipment manufacturer Samsung. Equipment model SMJ500F. Any comment regarding this?
Uma inika ke noma ikhipha imininingwane ke lana kuyasho ke ukuthi ke manje isithombe sasidilithiwe yini, ithi yebo. Inikeza le ngenkathi 2020/11/12 1740/02. Imininingwane yomakhalekhukhwini iSamsung SMJ500F.
Mina ngishilo phoma nkosenkando namanje ngaphinde lethi ithombe bayishitshe idate okwesibili.
I'm repeating it before this court that the dates were changed on these photos, and also the fact that the pictures were deleted. I know nothing about that.
I see it's about 6 minutes to 1, my lord. We'll be moving on to the next picture. May we take the long adjournment at this point?